day and welcome. I'm Timotab, and today I'm going to solve Quatre-vingts by Randall. If you would like to try solving this for yourself, it'll be the first link in the description. Okay, let's have a look at the rules. Quattroquadri rules apply. Place the digits 1 to 9 in each 3 by 3 box so that no digit repeats in a row or column. So we're going to place the digits 1 to 9 in here without repeats. In these 6 in the row will have no repeats. These 6 in the column will have no repeats. Same for all columns and rows. Okay. Green lines are Gem and Whispers lines. Adjacent digits along a line must have a difference of at least 5. So if this were a 3, this would have to be an 8 or 9 in order to be at least 5 away from it. XV sums. Digits separated by a V must sum to 5, and V is the Roman numeral for 5. Digits separated by an X must sum to 10. X is the Roman numeral for 10. And that is the rules. I am going to restart the puzzle to reset the timer, and let's begin. Okay, quick look at Gem and Whispers. I can't place a 5 on a Gem and Whispers line, or the next digit would have to be 0 or less, or 10 or more. Not valid Sudoku digits. Next, I have to alternate along a line between digits below 5 and digits above 5. Let us suppose I tried to not do that. If I put 2 low digits next to each other, then the maximum difference there is 3, which is less than the minimum 5 required. Likewise, if I put 2 high digits, the maximum difference would be 3. So we're going to alternate high-low, high-low. We don't usually know which way it's going to be until we discover that. Well, actually, every digit on a V is from 1, 2, 3, 4, and therefore is low, and I like to use blue for low because it's kind of cold, and so I can mark those as low, and then a nice warm orange for high. On an X, you must have a low digit and a high digit, so that's going to be high. These two are going to be low, so I can likewise color those low, and these high. There we go. This must be high because of the X. This must be low because of the X. Do we know how things are going to work out on this line? Yes, we do. We have 4 low digits in this row, and even in a Quattroquadri, we can't have more than 4 low digits in a row. So this, not being a 5, must be high. So those are going to be all high digits. That means that these are all going to be low digits. Okay. So where does that get us? Okay, that's pretty nice. This cannot be a 4. Because if that were a 4, that would be a 1 by V, that would be a 9 by X, but this would be a 9 by Gem and Whispers. So that is not a 4, and so that is not a 1. And this is 6, 7, or 8. Okay, that can't be a 6. So 6s and 4s are relatively hard to place on a Gem and Whisper. You can't place them such that the 2 digits they are next to can see each other. If this were a 6, then both of these digits would have to be a 1. So that's from 7, 8, or 9. This is from 1, 2, and 3. Because I can't place a 4 there. Because those two would have to be a 9. In fact, that can't be a 1 because that can't be a 6. No, that's not true. If that were not a 1, that could not be a 6, but not being a 6 does not preclude that from being a 1. Don't make that mistake. All right, but this is also from 1, 2, and 3. So we actually have a 1, 2, 3 triple in the column, but because we don't have 9 digits, that doesn't help as much as we might like. Okay. But this is 789. These are from 1, 2, 3, and 4, but this can't be 4, or those would both be 9s. So this can't be 1 because of the V. Okay. All right, if this, right, this cannot be a 6. So that's 789, that's from 1, 2, 3. This cannot be a 4, so that's 1, 2, 3. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's 6, 7, 8, 9. That can still be a 6. If that's a 6, that's a 4, that's a 1. Okay. That can't be a 4, so that's 1, 2, or 3. That can. Okay, these two digits are the same because they both see these 3 low digits. Okay, so I'm going to mark those with a green flash to remind me that they are the same digit. This cannot be a 6, that's 7, 8, 9. That can't be a 6. So that can't be a... Oh, there's nothing that can't be. 1, 2, 3, 4. 6, 7, 8, 9. This is 6, 7, 8, or 9. Okay. So we do have something powerful going on there, because if we make adjustments to one of those, that's going to severely impact things. So for example, if this is a 7, this has to be a 1, 2 pair. That makes that a 3. That makes that an 8, 9 pair, which makes that a 1 or a 2. Now, if that's a 3, then that can't be a 2, 3 pair. These two digits must add up to 5 because these two digits add up to 5. So this must be the other pair that adds to 5. So that can't be a 1. So that can't be a 6. And now we have a 7, 8, 9 triple in this column. Interesting. So if that's a 7, then this is a 1, 2 pair, and that's a 3. If that's a 7, that's a 1, 2 pair, and that's a 3. And if that's a 7, then that's a 1 or a 2. If that's a 7, that's a 3. That becomes 4, 1, and that's a 2. So if that's 7, that's 2. If that's 7, that's a 1-2 pair. And if that's 7, that's a 3. So if that's 7, that's a 1-2 pair. But that then can't be a 3 because that can't be a 7. So that becomes a 1, that's a 2. So if that's 7, that's 1, that's 2, and that's 3. And that's 4, and that's 6. And that's 2, and that's 8. Wait, that doesn't work. If that's 7, that's a 1-2 pair, but that can't be the 2 because that would have to be a 3 and that would be a 7. Therefore, that would be a 1. So that would be a 2, and that's a 3. If that's a 1, that's a 4, and that's a 6. So now we have 1, 4, 2. That must be a 3 with a 7. Okay, that just doesn't work at all. If that's a 7, that's a 1-2 pair. That can't be a 3, and that can't be a 3 because one of those would have to be a 7. All right, that's the easier way to see it. So that's not a 7. Well, hang on, wait. Yes, that is right. Because one of those two would have to be a 3, one of those two would have to be a 7. Right. So can we do something similar here? If that's a 7, that's a 1-2 pair. That becomes 3. That becomes 2. That becomes 8. So that's 9. That's 6. That's 4. That's 8. That's 2. Wait. That's 3, 2, 8. Three, 2, 8. That's 1. That's 4. That's 6. That's 2 or 3. That's 9. That's 8. So that would in fact be a 2. So that would be the 1. Wait. If that's 7, that's a 1-2 pair. If that's 7, that's a 1-2 pair. That becomes 3. That becomes 2. So that's 8. That's 9. That's 8. That's 2. So that's 1. 4, 1. Does that work? All right, easier way to do it. One of those two is a 7. So that can't be a 3. And if that's not a 3, then that is not a 2. So that's not a 2 because we know they're the same digit. So that's not... Wait, how did we remove 6 from here? Why did we remove 6 from there? Was that a mistake? Yes, that was a mistake. That one removes that 9. Okay, we do not have a 7, 8, 9 triple in the column. Ah. But, so if this is 7, that's a 1, 2 pair. That becomes a 3, 4 pair. That becomes a 6, 7 pair, but that's already a 7. So it's still not a 7. But I don't know that one of those two is a 7 now. So if I can force that not to be 3, Right, if that's 4, then that's 1. That becomes a 2, 3 pair. So that's not a 7. That becomes a 6. Wait a minute. All right, those two add to 5, so these two add to 5. So if that can't be 4, that can't be a 1, and that can't be a 9. Okay. This digit, wait a minute, this digit can't be that digit or that digit, and therefore it is one of these two digits. Right, one of these two is a 1, so that's not a 1. That's now a 2 or a 3. So that can't be a 6, so that can't be a 4. So that can't be a 4. So now there's only one place for a 4 in the row. That's a 4. That's a 1. We have a digit. That is not a 4, which makes that a 2, 3 pair. That's not a 6, that's a 7 or an 8. If that's a 2, 3 pair, that's a 4, and that's a 1. So that's 9. That's a 6 by the x. Okay. Those two are not 9s. That 2, 3 means that that is not a 2 or a 3. That is a 1. In fact, the only place for a 4 in the column is there. That makes that a 6, which makes that 1 by German Whisper. That's not a 1, and that is, so that's a 9. That is not a 6. So, where does 4 go in this box? The only place for it is there. So we can make that low. This is now a 5, 6 pair. Okay. I do not know for sure that one of those two is a 7, so I can't say something about that. That's a 3, that's a 7, that's a 2, that's a 3, and that's an 8. That all works, and that's a 2, and that's a 7. So that digit right, that digit must be the same as, that digit must be the same as that digit. I'm going to give those two a purple flash. This digit is the same as that one. A teal flash. Right, I've placed all of my 4s. That's not a 9. I don't think... but I do. I now have a 7, 8 in the column. So that is in fact a 9. And now that must be a 9. Okay. So now 6 is in one of these two, but it's not that one. So that's a 6. That's a 5. That is a high digit. That sees 7, 8, 9, and 6, and 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that's a 5. This must be the other of 7 and 8. I don't think I can colour that. Okay. That's not 2 or 3. That's not 2 or 3. I've got 1 of 2 and 3 on there, and that's a 2 or a 3. It's low. Yeah, that's 2, 3, 7, 8. That's not a 5. So that's a 5. That's a 6, which is high. That's a 5. This now must be a high digit and is 7 or 8. Okay. One of these two is a 7. So that must be a 2. So that's the 2. That's the 3. That now must be an 8 by German Whisper. That's a 7 by Sudoku. That is a 3 by X. That is a 7 because it's the same digit, and that matches. So that's an 8. That 2 makes that 3, that 2. That 2 makes that an 8 by X, so that's a 7. So that is not 7, and that is not a 3. In fact, the 8 makes this a not a 2-8 pair, so that is a 7 and a 2 and a 3, and I will just colour that low and that high, and remove those colours, oh, and that one, and then I can place an 8 there, and I can unwind that a little bit. Yes, that should be a 3, and that's a 2. That's much better looking. Not quite sure where my brain was at that moment. Remove that colour. Remove that colour. Remove that flash. And then that's an 8. And we are good to go. Yep, that was a fun puzzle. Quattroquadri are often a little bit challenging because you can't use all of the row and column logic that you are used to in a full Sudoku. But there's certainly lots to think about. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. Thank you very much, Randall, for creating it. If you like this solve, then please hit the like button. You can subscribe to see more, and I would love to hear your comments. I'm looking forward to next time. Be seeing you.